The insert rack, which is by default located on the right side of the SoundBridge window, is where you can see all of the rack modules on a certain track. You can show or hide it by using the insert rack button on the transport bar. The global bypass button bypasses all the inserted audio effects simultaneously. Remove plugin will remove all the selected plugin modules from the track. This button opens the channel strip presets. Here you can create new categories or rename them. You can save your channel strip, save it under a new name, set a channel strip preset as a default, which means that it will be loaded on every newly created track. You can rename your preset and import from or export to your hard drive. In this last section, you can see the signal flow of the currently selected preset. It will show you all the plugins that are used in that preset. This latency text box will show you the sum of all the latencies introduced by all the inserted effects. When hovered over, it shows you the manual latency control, where you can manually input a latency for that track, which can be positive or a negative value. Now let's go over the controls present on one of the plugin inserts. The bypass button bypasses the plugin. Plugin presets opens the plugin presets dialog. In it, you can create new categories, rename them, you can save your preset, save it under a new name, rename a preset, and import from or export it to your hard drive. Show Plugin button will open or close the plugin window. When enabled, the Read button prepares any parameter you touch within the plugin for automation, creating automation lanes and faders that reflect its instantaneous value. To see the faders we are creating, we can use this button that collapses or expands the module's faders. Once this is done, you can create automation for any red parameter. You can see the parameter following the automation. Clicking this button opens the XY combo boxes. In it, you can map any red parameter to the X and or Y boxes. This allows you to control two parameters simultaneously. Here you can select the plugin's sidechain input track. You can select the source of the sidechain to be taken before the effects, after the effects, but before the final gain stage, or at the final gain stage of the track. The Midi Chain button selects the MIDI input track. You will see this button on plugins that have a MIDI input available. Now let's switch over to an empty MIDI track. You will notice that here you can drop MIDI effects or an instrument. This allows you to use MIDI effects such as arpeggiators like our Record, or many other plugins that have a MIDI output available. If a MIDI output is available, you will be able to drop it onto this pad right here. The MIDI input is processed by the MIDI effect and later fed into the MIDI instrument located right after it. Third-party instruments such as Anna can be used as arpeggiators too.